The dawn breaks over an ancient battlefield. Amidst the morning mist, thousands of warriors stand ready, their weapons glinting in the early light. These aren't just tools of war. They're innovations that change the course of history. The composite bow draws back with a creak. This weapon, perfected by the nomads of the Eurasian steppes, could launch arrows with devastating force up to 400 yards. Unlike simple wooden bows, these masterpieces combined wood, horn, and sinew, creating a weapon that would dominate battlefields for over 2,000 years. The Parthians used them to devastating effect against the Romans, turning their horses around in full gallop to loose arrows, the famous Parthian shot. But before the bow, there was the spear, humanity's oldest companion in warfare. The Macedonian sarissa, an 18-foot pike wielded by Alexander the Great's phalanxes, transformed ancient warfare. Picture it, row upon row of these massive spears, creating an impenetrable forest of bronze-tipped points. The front ranks held their sarissas horizontally, while the back ranks pointed them upward at an angle, creating a shield against incoming arrows. This weapon system allowed Alexander to conquer most of the known world. The Roman Gladius tells a different story. This short sword, roughly 2 feet long, became known as the sword that conquered the world. But it wasn't just the weapon. It was how it was used. Roman legionaries would press forward with their large shields, the scutum, creating a wall of protection. When they got close enough, they would thrust with their gladius, stabbing rather than slashing. This combination of shield and short sword made the Romans nearly invincible in close combat. Let's move to siege warfare. The Greeks gave us the gastrophetes, the belly bow. This was the world's first mechanical artillery piece, a massive crossbow that required the user's entire body weight to draw, but it was just the beginning. Soon came the oxybeles, and then the mighty ballista, capable of hurling 60-pound stones over 500 yards. These weapons could demolish fortress walls or tear through enemy formations. In China, the crossbow revolutionized warfare centuries before it appeared in Europe. The Chuko Nu, or repeating crossbow, could fire multiple bolts in rapid succession. Though less powerful than traditional crossbows, its rate of fire made it devastating, especially when thousands were fired simultaneously. Chinese crossbowmen would often poison their bolts, making even a small wound potentially fatal. The war chariot rumbles onto our battlefield next. First developed by the Sumerians around 3000 BCE, it reached its peak with the Egyptians and Hittites. At the Battle of Kadesh in 1274 BCE, thousands of chariots clashed in what might be history's largest chariot battle. These platforms carried archers who could rain arrows down on infantry while staying mobile, the ancient equivalent of modern mobile artillery. Naval warfare brought its own innovations. The Greek trireme, powered by 170 oarsmen arranged in 3 tiers, was equipped with a massive bronze ram on its prow. These ships would literally punch holes in enemy vessels, sending them to the bottom of the Mediterranean. At the Battle of Salamis, these agile warships defeated the larger Persian fleet, changing the course of Western civilization. The catapult appears on our horizon, specifically the torsion-powered catapult developed by Dionysius Thwernus of Syracuse. These machines used twisted skeins of rope or hair to generate enormous power. The largest could hurl 180-pound stones over 600 yards. During the siege of Tyre, Alexander the Great used these weapons to demolish the city's mighty walls. But not all effective ancient weapons were so dramatic. The sling, simple yet devastating, could hurl a lead bullet at speeds approaching 100 miles per hour. Trained slingers could hit targets at 200 yards, nearly twice the effective range of most ancient bows. These bullets, often inscribed with taunts or messages, could penetrate armor or shatter bones. The falx, a curved sword used by the Dacians, was so effective that the Romans had to modify their helmet designs to protect against it. This weapon could hook over shields and deliver devastating downward strikes, making it particularly effective against heavily armored opponents. Chemistry also played its role. Greek fire, developed by the Byzantines, was a devastating weapon that could burn even on water. Projected through bronze tubes mounted on ships, this mysterious substance could destroy entire fleets. Its exact composition remains unknown to this day, but its effectiveness is well documented in numerous naval battles. As we survey our ancient battlefield, we see how these weapons shaped tactics, strategy, and the course of civilization itself. The sarissa created the dominant phalanx formation. The Roman gladius demanded close-quarter combat techniques. The composite bow gave birth to horse archer tactics that would dominate warfare for centuries. But perhaps most importantly, these weapons teach us about human ingenuity. Each was a solution to a specific military problem. Each represented the highest technology of its age, and each changed how humans waged war. From the simple spear to complex siege engines, these weapons were more than just tools. They were innovations that shaped history. The sun now sets on our ancient battlefield. The weapons we've examined might seem primitive by today's standards, but their effectiveness is undeniable. They were the product of countless generations of development, each improvement paid for in blood and battle experience. In studying them, we don't just learn about warfare, we learn about human innovation, adaptation, and the eternal quest for military advantage. These weapons might be ancient, but their legacy lives on in military technology and tactics to this day. The principles they embodied, mobility, protection, range, and power, remain fundamental to modern warfare, making them not just historical curiosities, but important lessons in the evolution of human conflict. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button to support us in creating more great content. Your support keeps us going.